some issues with the PPP funding. Some people have gotten it, some haven't. There's some questions that a lot of applicants have about receiving their PPP funds. And it makes you ask one question: is there a better way of doing this? And our friend here, Billy Bambro, a contributor to the Forbes magazine, has an article about this. It's called "The Surprising Way Second Stimulus Checks Could Reach Millions of Americans Faster." The U.S. has sent out some 88 million stimulus checks over the last few weeks, paying out almost $160 billion to Americans. Stimulus checks designed to jolt an economy that's been brought down to its knees by coronavirus lockdowns are meant to reach Americans as quickly as possible, though legacy systems have somewhat hampered the process. As lawmakers debate a second stimulus check, financial technology companies are looking to help millions of Americans outside the traditional banking system to get future aid quicker. Warring Democrats and Republicans have so far failed to agree on what should be included in the follow-up to the coronavirus aid relief, Economic Security CARES Act, but are expected to table proposals in coming weeks. Some have suggested the U.S. Federal Reserve create a so-called digital dollar and distribute it through Fed accounts, though such a service could take time to build. A digital dollar, similar to digital currency projects in China and Europe, could mean paper stimulus checks that will take months to distribute by post would be sent to Americans instantly. Okay, so for context, what's going on here when they're talking about the Federal Reserve, a Fed account is referring to the idea of every American being given a Federal Reserve account. So in theory, the money could be available to account holders with the click of your own computer mouse. So the benefit here is that the money would be safer, considering the Federal Reserve is the one who creates the money in the first place. So this will allow customers to make those electronic payments with central bank money instead of using commercial bank deposits. So some could argue that even our modern day banking system, the way we have it, it's not meant for electronic payments the way we have now. So for example, when the modern day banking system was made, you physically took a piece of gold or a piece of silver that was physically secured away in a vault. So most money today, it exists electronically. It's a number on your mobile banking app on your phone, a number you see on a bank statement on your computer. And the banks rely on the Federal Reserve to put up the necessary funds when there's an economic downturn, the way we saw in 2008 and a way that we're seeing right now during this crisis. So let's continue. In the meantime, internet payment giants like PayPal, through its Venmo app, along with the likes of Square's Cash App and newer digital banks Simple and Chime, have helped Americans get their stimulus checks via direct deposit. Chime, America's biggest digital bank by customers, was quick to begin piloting instant stimulus check payments earlier this month. For the 25% of Americans outside of the financial system, digital payment systems like PayPal provide the ability to participate in the digital economy while also avoiding costly fees. Okay, in the current environment, we know that fast, safe, and secure access to stimulus checks is of high importance to people. By electing to receive the payments through PayPal, recipients can avoid going to a physical check cashing location or even missing a paper check if they're sheltered in place at a different address to their registered address, right? Okay, and it has a bit more here. So I have another article. It is by cointelegraph.com. It says 2 versions of digital dollar emerge as contenders, but unlikely to come soon. So it's talking about the possibility of a digital dollar. It talks a bit about blockchain-based solutions being explored, if they would be launched soon. So just kind of putting down to the end, the advantages of a digital dollar. So let's read this last. In essence, both the end users of the digital dollar and the population as a whole can benefit from a digital dollar regardless of whatever shape it comes in. Users wouldn't need to pay account maintenance or interchange fees, nor would they need to have a minimum balance. Transaction speeds would also be improved, and the interest received on these accounts would be matched to a higher rate currently available to commercial banks. Moreover, balances would also be fully sovereign money, which means there would be no possibility of default on the need for deposit insurance. So those in favor of a digital dollar would suggest it's more accessible to a larger range of people. The reason being is you don't need to physically go into a bank to physically cash your check. You also wouldn't risk missing a check if you're sheltering in place at a different address where you're registered, like the other article had mentioned. So a lot of these fintech companies, these financial tech companies, are stepping up to the plate. They're offering banking and payment services. Meanwhile, a lot of the brick and mortar banks are, I mean, frankly, they're hurting. They're moving a bit slower, and it can be frustrating for customers when things aren't being processed the way that maybe a fintech company could. So if we go back to our other article, Google is reported to be building a so-called smart debit card. Apple launched its own credit card last year. Facebook is moving ahead with the diminished Libra cryptocurrency project. Future stimulus checks could well reach millions of Americans via the world's biggest technology companies, bypassing banks entirely. So Facebook is looking to launch their Libra cryptocurrency, which is very similar to the system that we have. However, it would be run by the nonprofit Libra Association. Most members of Libra would be from Facebook, Uber, or other large tech companies as well. So, in short, the cryptocurrency provides a way for people to exchange money, independent of a central authority, while also being electronically transferred in a secure manner. So basically, what you would have a basket of currencies. So if you had, for example, the US dollar and the British pound, the idea is that the fluctuating values of the currencies would offset each other if you implemented a cryptocurrency. So, for example, you could have Libra dollars and Libra pounds. The idea is that the cryptocurrency would be exactly as stable as the normal dollar or the normal pound, right? However, others are kind of disputing the stability of having a cryptocurrency. So companies have implemented strict regulatory compliance, such as requiring government ID. You need to identify yourself when you're trying to create an account for these services. But this also allows a bit more privacy for the entire network and also the consumer. And it's interesting to think this could be the future of banking. And let me know what you think.